You can't sleep? Want me to read this for you? It's a good night story. I don't know what that's called in English. Um, yeah, I was kind of reading the back. Doesn't really say much, but yeah, I saw this at a garage sale, and I was intrigued. You want me to read it for you or not? Okay. Fort Peter. Look at it. Fort Peter. I think the person who sold this to me, well, gifted this to me, stole it from a bookshop because it has whatever. Okay, chapter 1. June 14, 1986. I would have arrived much earlier if I hadn't lost my way 3 times. What a strange road it was to Wakefield Hall. More than once I'd been tempted to turn back, certain that the twisting lane with its sudden pitches and misleading signs could not possibly be right. It was all the more bewildering as the directions seemed so explicit. Shortly before noon, I came to the walls encircling the estate, to a cobbled carriage house next, and finally to the entrance. Very tall, very grand, in black wrought iron. I stopped the car, relishing the silence for a moment as I caught my breath. A slight breeze blew. A slight breeze blew, ruffling the trees and blowing my hair about my face. Double gates loomed before me, their massive stone posts. Carved with a pattern not easy to decipher. Arrows intertwined by lilies, it seemed. For many moments I sat quite still, gazing at the motif embedded in the stone. It was carved in such a way that the serpentine flowers appeared strangely animated and powerful. Then I got out of the car and stepped forward toward the speaker to announce myself. Only at that instant, with a particular brush of sense memory, did I realize how many times I had imagined arriving here, how many times since first meeting Johanna on that summer afternoon I had visualized the road, the gate, the house itself. I tried to remember whether in my fantasies the gate had opened for me. It seemed it had. Yet now I felt almost intimidated, hesitant to say my name and enter. I pressed the bell again and once more announced myself. The gates opened. I drove through. At first the landscape seemed barely cultivated. Meadows and wildflowers that gradually gave way to fields of blue iris. An alley of immense maple trees followed, their green tinted limbs twisting upward to form a canopy of heavy branches. I remember how cool it was as I drove beneath them, and a respite from all the unseasonably warm June sun. Unseasonably, okay. At last, in a distance, I glimpsed Wakefield Hall, with its august proportions and columned portico. It was startling in its Englishness, this being Massachusetts after all. To the left, down the sloping dawn, I saw a trio of weeping willows where several people were gathered, having drinks before lunch, it seemed. A Saturday ritual, perhaps, unchanged since Johanna death. I glanced into the visitor mirror, wiped some dust from my cheek, and ran a brush through my hair. Then I took out my compact and fixed my lipstick, thinking how pale I looked in the start of the moon, in the stark noon light, and how disheveled, for my linen skirt was very creased. I got out of the car and stepped and I got out of the car and walked up the stone steps to the entrance. A slender, dark-haired young woman approached her face partly obscured by sunglasses. Evidently, she had just returned from riding, for she was wearing boots and jodhpurs, both of which caked with dirt. Her cheeks looked flushed. Clutched in her left hand was a riding crop that she flicked against one thigh. She was small but so perfectly proportioned that, at least from a distance, she appeared taller. There was a brittle elegance about her, an aura of command, all the more striking in someone so dainty. We were about the same age, I guessed. Rosalind Bennett, she announced, extending her hand. Johanna Castles, or should I say, Johanna Eakin's stepdaughter. She took off her sunglasses and fixed her dark, almond-shaped eyes on me. The next instant, wiping her perspiring brow with a red kerchief, kerchief. Her fine, almost Florentine face, with its high forehead and long, graceful brow, was mirrored by a purplish bruise on one temple. From a recent riding accident, I assumed. I noticed a slight flexidity to her skin, particularly under the chin, the kind that comes from having suddenly lost a great deal of weight. She continued to examine me, one hand on her sunglasses, one hand with sunglasses still on her hip. Elizabeth Rowan, I replied. Of course, she paused, as if her thoughts had momentarily wandered. But then just as quickly she focused on me again. No problem getting here? She asked. I said lightly enough that I had gotten lost, though in fact losing my way had disturbed me. You're already asleep. Go fuck yourself. I can't read with this dim light. I'm sorry if I what's the word? Stutter. Sorry if I started way too much. I can't read with this light. I hope you're asleep. Bye.